Okay, let's start from where we ended last video. In last video, we discussed initiation, and in planning, we discussed resource management plan, stakeholder plan, communication plan, scope baseline, schedule baseline, cost baseline. Now we have all three baselines and some important plans like how to manage the team. Now let's talk about a little bit about risk. You see, we make a risk management plan that defines what is the definition of risk. By the way, what is the definition of risk? Risk is any uncertain event that may or may not happen. Any uncertain event that may or may not happen. And if that happen, it can have positive, that is opportunity, or a negative impact on one or all of the project objective. That's kind of the pet definition. I hope that it's simple and you can understand it. Risk management plan defines how you are going to manage the risk. Is your organization risk seeker? They run towards the risk averse, they run away from the risk, or are they risk neutral? What is the level of your organization? We will discuss that in the risk management plan. It defines risk tolerance threshold, things like that, and which probability and impact metrics are you going to use in your project. That will be discussed in the risk management plan. Once your risk management plan is approved, who approved it? Of course, sponsor approved it. Once that plan is approved by the sponsor, then you start identifying the risk. You look at the past lesson learned register to identify the risk. You use OPS, policies, procedure, tools and templates. You use EEF, enterprise environmental factors. You use prompt lists like VUCA, SWOT analysis, and my favorite, PESTEL analysis. Political, economical, social, technical, legal, environmental analysis. What are the internal, external threats or opportunity you have? Of course, business case, benefit management plan, project charter, all these documents will have risk in it. You will look through those documents. What are the risks that your project may face? Now, risk identification is an iterative process. It can happen at any time, but initially, if we put more effort in initial identification, it is better for the organization. We try to identify as many risks as it is humanly possible. Once we have identified all the risks, we put them into the risk register. At this stage, we will put potential owners and potential response. Risk owners are those people who are gonna handle that pertinent risk. So you put the risk owner, you put the potential owner, you put the potential risk response for that risk. Now you have done that, then what we are going to do? Now we are going to handle those risks. We are going to work on those risks. First of all the risks are there, we need to prioritize them. Without prioritization, we cannot work with them. Just like we did for stakeholder, there are two ways to prioritization: qualitative risk assessment and then quantitative risk assessment. We rank the risk both qualitatively and quantitatively. Once we have ranked the risk qualitatively and quantitatively, qualitatively use probability and impact metrics, like take all the risk and just rank it, what are the most important risk. Quantitative risk analysis is kind of an expensive tool many organization does not do, and it's kind of optional because the skills required for quantitative risk analysis can be sometimes expensive. So we use influence diagram, we use Monte Carlo simulation, that S-curve, we use sensitivity analysis, which is called as tornado analysis, that can help you. All these tools, rank them. By the way, if you need explanation of these tools, I'm gonna put tools and technique playlist here. You can watch that. That can help you a lot in understanding these tools and technique also as an individual way. Acha, once the risks are ranked, we will look at the risk response strategy. For opportunities, we have exploit, number one strategy. Exploit is the most positive word in PMP. I'll repeat, exploit is the most positive words in PMP. If you cannot do exploit, you do enhance or you share that opportunity. And for negative risk, that is threat, we try to avoid the risk, where we completely remove the risk. or if we cannot do avoid, we mitigate the risk or transfer it. Whenever you transfer the negative risk, you need to pay an insurance or a premium amount to the body. Once you have transferred the risk, then if the risk is above your threshold limit, you can escalate it to the senior management, program manager. And if you cannot do these strategies, then we accept the risk. You see, all these strategies are happening even before the risk occur. We try to avoid, mitigate, transfer. But acceptance is that, okay, we say that let the risk happen, but in acceptance we have active acceptance. If this risk occur, then this is my plan. That is called contingency plan. If this risk occur, I will have a trigger that will tell me, okay, this risk is going to occur. The risk owner is going to look at the trigger. If this risk occur, the risk owner is going to implement the contingency plan. This is also called plan A. And if that plan fail, we have a plan B, that is also known as fallback plan. Happening even before the risk occur, we try to avoid, mitigate, transfer. But acceptance is that, okay, we say that let the risk happen, but in acceptance we have active acceptance. If this risk occur, then this is my plan. That is called contingency plan. If this risk occur, I will have a trigger that will tell me, okay, this risk is going to occur. The risk owner is going to look at the trigger. If this risk occur, the risk owner is going to implement the contingency plan. This is also called plan A. And if that plan fail, we have a plan B, that is also known as fallback plan. Okay, contingency plans and fallback plan, plan A, plan B. Okay, let's say this risk occurred now. Now what you will do? Now the risk owner will implement the risk response, and after implementing the risk response, there are two options. Either that response was successful and you have residual risk left, which is acceptable. We say, okay, let's see what it is. Or you have a secondary risk, as risk that occurred because of the response of the primary risk, secondary risk. So you execute on that risk. So this is active acceptance. We also have passive acceptance. We say that, okay, this is a risk, but we don't think this will occur, or we don't want to plan for it. We say, okay, we will handle it later on. That is passive acceptance of the risk. And for passive acceptance risk, we use management reserve. Like we will raise a change request and we will ask management once they occur, give us some money. For active acceptance, we plan it, we put in the cost baseline as a contingency reserves. Important point. Interestingly, contingency plan is a plan that you use for active accepted risk, and contingency reserves are the reserves that you use, just to make it easier for you to understand. Acha. Now you are doing risk audit throughout the process. The audit is all about checking the effectiveness of the process. If this risk occur, what will you do? Risk audit. And you also do risk review meeting. The purpose of risk review meeting is, as the name says, review the risk. How many risks can occur? If these risks are going to occur, how you are going to handle them? How many has occurred in the past between the two risk review meetings? How many risks has occurred? Which can impact the project? How they are impacting? So risk review meeting get an output as a risk report that is shared with the sponsor and all those things. Every risk review meeting will have a new risk report, and risk registers, of course, their own. So there are three documents that we have discussed so far. The risk topic, risk management plan, that talks about how the risk process will be handled, risk register that lists down all the risk, and risk report that shows you the weekly or monthly status of that thing. And another thing that is important to understand, risk review meetings, how many risks has occurred, which can impact the project, how they are impacting. So risk review meeting get an output as a risk report that is shared with the sponsor and all those things. Every risk review meeting will have a new risk report, and risk registers, of course, their own. So there are three documents that we have discussed so far. The risk topic, risk management plan, that talks about how the risk process will be handled, risk register that lists down all the risk, and risk report that shows you the weekly or monthly status of that thing. And another thing that is important to understand, technical reserve analysis. As the risks are occurring, we want to look into that, how much reserves are left for us, and we need to communicate to the sponsor, change control board, seniors in the risk review meeting. And let's say your reserves are done, then you need to use management reserves and you need to raise the change request for that. Another important thing to understand, risk is any event that has not yet occurred and you identified before. One more time, unidentified event that you identify before occurring and you make a plan for it. When that occur, an unidentified event, you plan for it, you identified it, and the event has not yet occurred, you put in the risk register, plan for it and work for it. And once it occurs, you update the risk register. That's it. But if an unidentified event occur and you identified it later on, or something occur, in simple words, something occur and you don't have a plan for it, that goes into issue log. That goes into issue log. Anything for which you don't have a plan is an issue. Risk and issue difference, important. You update the issue log, you review that why it was not identified, you do the root cause analysis, how to handle that, you raise a change request, and if the change request is accepted, you implement that and you communicate to all the responsible party, and then later on you look into that, okay, if that issue can reoccur in the project, we will update the risk register, and if that risk can occur in the future project, for sure we will update the lesson register. It's an important concept to understand into that. So that's all you need to know about risk. Then we see, okay, we discuss about the transfer of the risk. So it comes under the procurement. In procurement, we discussed, can we make something or we have to buy something. Once we decided we want to buy something, we make the source selection criteria. What will be my source selection criteria when I am buying from outside? What are the reasons that I feel that I need to buy something from outside? What is the justification? You make a source selection criteria. It can be something is cheap, you cannot do something, so into that. So that's all you need to know about risk. Then we see, okay, we discuss about the transfer of the risk. So it comes under the procurement. In procurement, we discussed, can we make something or we have to buy something. Once we decided we want to buy something, we make the source selection criteria. What will be my source selection criteria when I am buying from outside? What are the reasons that I feel that I need to buy something from outside? What is the justification? You make a source selection criteria. It can be something is cheap, you cannot do something, so cost to quality, or thousands of other reasons can be there. You identify those reasons, put it into the source selection criteria. Now your source selection criteria is ready. Well done, you have made a good progress. Now we decide whether the scope is fixed or not. If your scope is fixed, we go with a fixed price contract. If your scope is not fixed, we go with the cost reimbursement contract. Fixed price have firm fixed price incentive fee, and fixed price economic price adjustment that is used for the inflation thing. Cost has cost plus fixed fee, cost plus incentive fee, cost plus award fee, and plus of course you have a time and material contract along the way that is based on subscription model. Once contracts are finalized, we made procurement statement of work. That's kind of a thing, what I actually need, I share it to the people. Okay, I need this thing, please share this thing with me. I share it with the third party. Okay, look into that, and they share us that thing. So procurement statement of work is ready with us, and then we make a procurement management plan that defines how the procurement is going to happen, what we are going to do in the procurement, things like that. So that's happened in the planning part of the procurement. I'll cover that later and upcoming what happens in execution, monitoring and control. Then we look at the quality plan. In quality is all about agreeing to the standards. We look at that, what are the standards we are going to follow, which standards we are going to benchmark, which we need to look into that. And we look the cost of quality, cost of conformance, money spent to avoid failures and money spent because of failures. What are the cost into that particular domain, like training cost, appraisal cost, all these things come the cost of quality. We agreed with that, we get quality management plan which is approved, and now the quality standards are agreed. We get the quality matrix, that KPI matrix. So quality things are agreed. Important thing, all the compliance things, all those things, even the quality compliance, it goes into risk register. Okay, so we have discussed so far in planning, stakeholder plan, communication plan, resource plan, scope baseline, scope baseline, schedule baseline, quality plan, procurement plan, risk. So that is the sum up of all the plans, and then we go to the big, and that is integration plan, project management plan, which is an integration. We combine all the plan and we get it approved. Project management plan is ready, which has change management plan, how you are going to handle any changes. I'll come in next video. I will go into agile, so we'll talk the change. Then we have a configuration management plan that talks about the product, how we are going to handle that, which life cycle we are going to look into that. We decide that, and we have project management plan here. I hope that video makes sense to you. This is all about planning. So far in the 2 videos we have initiation and planning. In the next one I'll go with the agile. I'll try to summarize the agile, and then we'll move towards execution. If you like this video, feel free to let me know how did you love it, and feel free to put your comments. And if you want to join my program, you have my number, contact me. Thank you.